Joe Kennedy said, if you get my son in, help him get in. Meanwhile, they help him get in, and then they went after them.
What are you mad about that rat for? He should have died a long time ago. My father made a comment like that.
Yeah.
All the people in the know at that time that were there, and they 1,000% told me it was a mob hit.
These are archetypes, the father, the mother, the young boy. Everyone who sees it sees themselves. Where those other movies, they're watching it, but they're not living it. Nicholson comes, Pacino comes, Ray Sharkey comes, Robert Redford comes, Burt Reynolds comes, Jerry Weintraub, Al Ruddy, Tish, Stark. I mean, biggest of the biggest. Every huge director, Monty Brest, Rob Reiner, to see the movie, to see the play. And people freaking out.
Every time I've gone, it's been sold out.
Sold out, sold out.
Continues.
Every time. And then it comes to, I said, well, I want to end this. And I said, I'm going to film the movie of the one-man show.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Franzese. Hope everybody's doing well. All is very good, very blessed, very busy, but very blessed on this end. And as always, I give all the praise, honor, glory, and thanksgiving to our God for that. Chazz Palminteri, very dear friend. Most of you know that by now. Become family friends, love the guy, love his wife, love his kids, and I think the feeling is mutual. He's just a great guy, great actor. We're going to sit down with him today. And, you know, we used to have a platform called The Wise and the Wise Guy on YouTube, and we kind of stopped it for a while, only for one reason. We don't really want to do Zooms. He lives on the East Coast, I live on the West Coast. We both have very hectic schedules, so it's kind of tough for us to get together. We may resume it, though, because we have such good conversations together, and people have been asking for it. Michael, when are you bringing back Wise and the Wise Guy? Well, let's see what happens. But today we're going to talk about his one-man show and the fact that it's now available on a streaming platform, and it will be available on in limited releases in theaters throughout the country. When I say his one-man show, he actually filmed it and did a tremendous job. He's been doing it for 33 years live. Amazing. Imagine doing something for 33 years, still sells out the crowds. The movie was born out of his one-man show. It was on Broadway and everything else. And Chazz plays every character. And it's amazing. You heard me talk about it before. I've done a review on it. It's just terrific. And, you know, this is his legacy. This is what really got him off the ground in his career. He'll tell you the story, I'm sure, that Robert De Niro saw him performing the one-man show. And it turned into a movie at that point in time, a very good movie. And, you know, we talk about mob movies. Bronx Tale, brilliantly done, was not really a mob movie. It was really a movie about, you know, father and son, about how somebody can have an impact outside of your family on someone. Chazz, I thought that his performance as Sonny was the best ever. Reminded me of my dad for some reason. I thought, hey, I wonder if he's copying, you know, Sonny Franzese at all. But he wasn't, you know, he'll tell you that. But it was just a brilliant movie. And the fact that now you can see it on a streaming platform in your home, I think you should take it just to watch the magnificence of one man doing so many different characters and really pulling it off. And has he pulled it off? You're darn right he has. He's been doing it for well over 30 years. So it's his legacy. I'm so happy for him. You know, he was very proud of the filming, the way it came out, very proud of the show. And, you know, then Chazz and I will just kick it. We'll talk about things. I think our perspective is really interesting to people. It certainly was on The Wise and the Wise Guy. We'll hit some different points. But I think I'm going to ask Chazz about how this all began with him, you know, because it's really tough to get started in show business, people. I mean, for every one person that makes it, thousands of people fail. And I'm not discouraging anybody that, you know, wants to get into the industry, but I'm just telling you, it's tough. It takes a lot. So I hope you enjoy it. You know, normally do when I have Chazz on, but here it is. Without any further delay, my dear friend, Chazz Palminteri. Chazz, we finally made it back together. It's been months.
It's been months. Well, you've been away. You've been all over the world, and I've been traveling. So
I know.
I know. I feel bad about it because I love doing our podcast together.
Everybody's mad at us. That's all I hear. Where's the Wise and the Wise Guy? When are you guys coming back? I tell them just, you know, we're almost building the day. We'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back. We got to do it. People love it.
Yeah.
We have more content now. There's so much has been happening in these past several months.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah. Everything's been.
But I got to ask you something. I want to, something is very hot right now. And listen, I know you weren't a mobster. I know that. But you grew up and you had friends and
Yes.
you knew the deal.
Oh, yes.
Did you ever hear from any of those guys that you knew, and some of them I knew also, about the JFK assassination, if my former associates were involved in it or not? Did you ever hear anything
Yes.
like that? You did?
Yeah. I heard that from day one.
Okay.
From day one. I mean, then you would hear it. Yeah, this guy, and then you didn't know if it was, guys were bullshitting, if it was true, but I heard it from day one. They were upset because of the whole thing with Joe Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Kennedy said, if you get my son in, help him get in. Meanwhile, they help him get in, and then they went after them.
All right. And that's all true, because we delivered the state, when I say we, people know it.
Yeah.
We delivered the state of Illinois to them in a very tight race with Nixon and Kennedy back
Right,
then.
that's absolutely correct. And I heard that from day one.
And what was supposed to happen at that point, they were supposed to back off, because they were starting to get a little crazy with the mob guys back then. They were supposed to back off. They didn't. Robert Kennedy went full force.
Full force.
Okay. So now that the Trump is saying he's going to release the confidential documents that were supposed to be released, every time they're going to be released, they stop it. Trump was going to do it last time, and then he stopped. This time, I think he's serious. He's going to release JFK, RFK, and Martin Luther King. We'll see. So I was on Piers Morgan a couple of days ago with a panel, and we're all talking about there was an ex-CIA agent, some guy that, you know, just like hated the way the whole investigation was on JFK, and then there was me. So I told Piers, and I'll swear by this, I've heard this my whole life. I remember I was 12 years old when he died.
Right.
I was sitting out in my patio, my father and mother there. My mother was upset, and my father said, I'll never forget, what are you mad about that rat for? He should have died a long time ago. My father made a comment like that, right? Like, he was mad that my mother got upset. That's the first thing that put in my head. When I got into the life, I talked to my father afterwards. He said, you know what happened there. I said, this bum, the whole family should die. He talked to me like that. He was really upset.
He was hated.
Hated. So I have spoken to all the people in the know at that time that were there, and they 1,000% told me it was a mob hit. Now, let me be clear on this. I believe the CIA, the government was involved in it also. Obviously, they had to be. I don't believe that we planned that hit. I don't think we hired Oswald and planned the hit. I think what happened, for whatever reason, and I have no idea why, the government wanted to eliminate, a faction of the government wanted to eliminate Kennedy. That's on them. I don't know what happened there. But I know they came to us to clean it up. And that's what Jack Ruby did. Jack Ruby goes back to the days of Capone with Chicago. He was close with them in Chicago. He was with, I forget the guy's name, in Dallas, who was the boss there. I always forget his name. And that guy came from New Orleans. 100%. And I said, if I had to stake my life on this, I would say it. I have no horse in this race. Doesn't matter to me. You know what it is, Chazz? Guys on the street, guys of substance. I don't mean the thugs. They don't admit to stuff like this. They don't want to talk about it. So I just wanted to know if you heard anything about it, because, and the other thing I said, they've tried to say in the investigation that Jack Ruby had no connection with the mob, which is a total lie. And what I told, total lie.
A strip club.
It's a strip club. He was paying them off, the whole thing. And I told Pierce, if those confidential documents are released and they claim in the documents that Ruby wasn't attached to the mob, then you can throw the whole thing out.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah,
that'll be the proof to me. So I just wanted to see what your
no, I've heard that for years. I mean, did you hear that they actually killed Jack Ruby in prison? I heard they actually injected
him. Yeah,
you heard that?
Yeah, I heard.
Again, this is, you hear the mob guys talk about this. You know, they hated Joe Kennedy. He was the one. Everybody hated him.
Yeah, and they said that they tried to say he had no mob connection. He goes back to the days with Frank Costello. Frank Costello wanted to have him killed.
Yeah.
Wanted to have him killed.
Yeah.
From his bootleg.
You know, after all these years, the past, 10 years, 15 years, I've seen things that the government has done and learned, and I go, you know what? We were naive, man. These cats could do anything. Yeah.
Chazz, I got to tell you, I don't want to get into the politics, but
No.
we've seen in the last 4 years,
Yeah.
I won't put anything past them.
I mean, I
Nothing.
grew up thinking, no, nobody would ever plant evidence. No, this is America. But boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, listen, what people don't understand is the most corrupt organizations in the world are governments. That's
Yeah.
it. And I think, listen, if Trump follows through with what he said, because I think he's angry too and he wants to clean the swamp, we're going to see a lot
Yeah.
of junk come out. We're going to see a lot.
Yeah, I bet so. I bet, yeah.
Republicans and Democrats.
Oh,
Just
both.
saying, yeah, both sides.
Both. Are you kidding?
You know, we're not saying any side is angels, but I think you're going to see more on the Democrat side. But
No,
we'll see how it
I
goes.
look at the war, the weapons of mass destruction, the trillions of dollars, and the boys that were killed. I mean,
You know, they got blood on their hands.
blood on their hands. I told you quickly, I was speaking to a guy, like Halliburton.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said to him, I'll never forget it, Michael. I said to him, listen, let me ask you a question. I said, you do this. I said, you have children, right? And he says, yeah. I was just crazy. I was just pissed. And I said, when you go to bed at night and you have children that are grown, I said, do you ever feel bad? How you make your money? And he looks at me and he just says, war's very profitable, Chazz.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the way he said that. War's very profitable, Chazz.
And it is.
And I just never had respect for that guy after that. I don't know. And maybe he's just a businessman, but it was the way he said it that just bugged me, man.
Yeah.
Bugged me.
We know that to be a fact. God knows how much money was robbed and all this money that went over to Ukraine.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that kickbacks weren't going.
Are you kidding?
Without a doubt.
Oh, my God.
No doubt.
The kickbacks.
Yeah.
The kickbacks that they must have got. It's all about kickbacks.
Yeah. And everything.
We grew up in the street. It's kickbacks. Yeah. Whenever you helped your friend, if it was a nothing, and he said, listen, Michael, I had guys that said it to me. Chazz, could you hook me up? Oh, well, all right, so what's the deal? In other words, yeah, I'll take care of this, but what about?
Exactly.
You want to wet your beak, as they say.
Exactly.
And that's the way it's run.
That's the way the world is run.
That's the way the world is, yes.
And government is no different. They're the biggest perpetrators.
That's the biggest one.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see your take because I know there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of talk about this in the next couple of weeks.
If he lets them out.
Well, he ordered the release. Now they're supposedly, who knows what they're going to redact? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they can always cross things out. They could not put it there. That's why I don't know.
Listen, I have maintained this all along. I've said it for years now. I don't believe our government is ever going to want to admit that the mob was able to get to a sitting president. You know what that looks like for them?
You know what they could do, Michael? And again, I'm just spitballing here. They can not order the hit, but they could say to some certain people, hey, he's going to be here. If you want to do something, it's a good time to do it because we're going to stand down a little bit. We're not going to be so
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. You bring up something. My dad had always maintained, and I found out he was wrong about this, I believe. He always maintained that Al Capone was injected with the syphilis virus while he was in prison. He always said, Michael, they killed Al Capone. The feds injected him with syphilis.
Wow.
But then I found out, I said, Dad, I did work on him, and he had syphilis well before. No, I don't believe that. I said, well, it's been reported.
No, it has been reported.
Yeah, he had, I think his wife had it also.
Yeah.
And he refused to get treatment.
Yeah.
He refused to get treatment. That's why it advanced to the way it
went.
But my dad always said, no, you don't believe that. He got it in there. I said, Dad, let me show you. No, I don't want to see nothing.
No, they don't want to see that.
He said, you think the feds wouldn't do that? I said, I didn't say that. I said, with Al Capone, I don't think that's the way it
I think the feds will do anything.
Hey.
Really?
My friends, in my former life, I learned that controlling information, it really means controlling people. Let's take the media today. I'm telling you this, they took a page right out of our book, out of the mob's book, except they're not doing street corners. They do it with a preferred slice of news. This is exactly why I partnered with Ground News. Ground News gives you the full picture. You're not just getting one side of the story, and that's very helpful. You're seeing how different outlets, different news outlets frame different stories. You see who owns these publications, what stories they might be keeping from you altogether with their blind spot feature. Let me show you something very interesting. On Ground News, you can see that this JFK story, it was covered by over 571 different sources. Listen, I spent over 30 years teaching people how to spot manipulation. Believe me, when I say Ground News is like having a consigliere, very handy, for the media, it shows you exactly what's going on behind the scenes. It leaves no stone unturned. So head to ground.news/MF right now and you'll get 40% off subscribing for their Advantage plan. Take it from someone who spent 25 years basically as a human lie detector. In today's world, understanding who's telling you what and why they're telling it, that's real power, and it's a sharp clarification towards your peace of mind. Get it today. All right, I have to say this. First thing I want to tell you, Chazz, Bronx Tale, classic movie, and I was really thinking about it, and I said, what sets that movie apart from all the other mob movies? And there's been good ones out there, obviously. No, good.
Yeah, a lot of great ones.
But what sets that apart? And I came to the conclusion, in any of these movies, Goodfellas, even Casino, there's no redeeming quality in any of the characters. Think about it. Think about Goodfellas. Was there a redeeming quality? If for a moment you thought maybe Henry Hill had a redeeming quality, he blew it in the end.
He blew it in the end.
You know, Joe Pesci, obviously, there's nothing redeeming about him. Jimmy Burke, nothing really redeeming.
Right.
Even the Vario character, I didn't see anything redeeming in it. And it's the same for all of these movies. Maybe The Godfather, you could say, okay.
A little bit.
Yeah, he cared about his family and stuff like that. But in A Bronx Tale, the whole difference is there are a lot of redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
Every one of them. I mean, even Sonny, redeeming quality because the guy really cared about the young guy. I felt bad when he got killed in the end.
I told you the studio wanted to change the script. And they went to Bob De Niro and said, Sonny has to live. He's a beloved character.
Yeah.
He has to live. That was all the feedback they were getting from all these big executives that were reading it. Sonny has to live. And I was like, and thank God for Bob De Niro. He just looked at that. And I'll never forget, I went to him that day. There were two things they wanted. They wanted Sonny to live, and they wanted me to cut out the black story.
Really?
Yeah. And I went to De Niro. I'll never forget. I went to his house, and I walked in. I said, Bob, this is what they want. Well, I can't do it. I won't do it. Sonny has to die. It's a catharsis. The boy sees his father was right all along. Sonny dies. The father and the boy come together more. Sonny's out of the picture. And he says, I know, don't worry about it. And I said, and I want to show about the racism, what went on there. And it's part of C's becoming a man. Sonny was more in favor of it than the father was. And I always said the movie works, and it's become this, whatever, if you want to say classic, it has, because it's not about good versus evil. It's about gray versus gray. Sonny was gray, the father was gray, and the boy took the best of both of them and became a man. And that's why it's so unique, Michael. And it's funny that you brought, when you said it, I was saying, yeah, he's right about that. And I realized the difference between Bronx Tale and Goodfellas and even The Godfather and Casino and a lot of those movies, Donnie Brasco, you're watching the world and you're getting, wow. In Bronx Tale, you become the world because a lot of it is about you. It's like, wait a minute, I was that kid. Yeah, I hung out in that neighborhood. Even if you didn't grow up there, you go, yes, I became a man when I got mentored. These are archetypes, the father, the mother, the young boy. Everyone who sees it sees themselves. Where in those other movies, they're watching it, but they're not living it. And that's the difference between the two movies. A Bronx Tale is like, people have said this, you know, it's Shakespearean, it's like Homer.
Yeah.
Did I know that when I wrote it? Of course not. I just wrote this story from the heart. And for some reason, Michael, and I've written other movies that did well, but not like this one. This one just connected to everyone. It just connects where people, no matter how many times they see it, they want to see it again and again. People who saw the one-man show, which people could still come to see it live, they've seen it 100 times. I've been doing this thing for 30 years.
I don't think most of my viewers know how Bronx Tale, the movie, originated. Please tell them.
Yeah, and to make a long story short, but the way it originated was I had this idea to do the script that I wrote on stage. Instead of people reading it, because many people can't read a script, they go, I don't know. I said, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to see me do it. I'm going to play all the parts. And people thought I was nuts. And when I did it, I borrowed
Now,
money.
what year was that when you first
1989.
when you first performed?
I first performed it. And
I was in jail.
you were in jail at that time?
It's prison.
Sorry.
Man.
You were in the hole and I was doing
Yes.
that. And I did it. And from day one, my life changed. The first few nights, there was a nice little crowd there because I used the money for publicity.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only 90 seats. But Michael, you could not get a ticket for my show for the next years. Impossible. Just crowds. Now you got to picture this. I'm doing this show in a 90-seat theater. Nicholson comes, Pacino comes, Ray Sharkey comes, Robert Redford comes, Burt Reynolds comes. Why are these people coming? Producers, Jerry Weintraub. What's the guy who produced The Godfather? I forgot his name. Al Ruddy.
Al Ruddy, yeah.
Tish, Stark. I mean,
Everybody.
the biggest of the biggest. Every director, every huge director, Marty Bresch, Rob Reiner. I could go on and on at that time. And people freaking out. And that's how I got offered $250,000 after like a week.
But let me ask you a question. Did they, what do you think they got? It had to be a combination of both. Was it the story or the fact that you played every single character?
The reviews came out, okay, when I did it after a week. And the reviews were insane. But every one of them said the magic word. Tour de force, brilliant, never been seen before. How did this happen? What Mr. Palminteri, what Chazz Palminteri did is the genesis of a great movie. And that's what they saw.
Wow.
And everyone was, this is an incredible movie. I just saw a movie on stage, not a one-man show. Every review was like that.
Really?
That was it. That was it. When they see that, the genesis, the germ of a great film, forget it. It was like nonstop. Calling me in my home. It was so insane. And I'm not exaggerating. I'll tell you this quick.
Was this the first thing you ever acted in, or had you done anything prior?
Oh, no, I was a Broadway actor.
Oh, you were?
Oh, no, I was a legitimate actor.
Okay.
But I ran out of money.
Right.
When I was in when I got to L.A., I got parts right away. Hill Street Blues, Matlock, Dallas, in '86. But after doing all these guest star roles, I started to run out of money again, as any actor does.
But did you think of this as a movie, or did you say, I love Broadway, I love the stage, and this is what I want to do?
Well, I said, I'm a stage actor, so I said, I'm going to do a one-man show. And I'm going to play all the parts. And I'm going to blow people away where they got to look at me and go, holy shit. I said, I was doing it to get an agent. and have somebody read what I was going to write. And so I kept doing 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Next week, I would take away 5 minutes, add 2 minutes out of that. So at the end of almost a year, in 1988, I started writing. I had 90 minutes of this powerhouse show that worked. So the insane thing was, I had a car at that time. I had this car. It was a 1972 Honda Civic, and it had a little hole in the radiator. And every 3 days, I would have to remember to put water in it because it would leak very slow.
Wow.
So I called up, never forget it, I dedicated to Fred Westheimer and Lee Cohen. I called them up and I said, hey, listen, I can't make the meeting. And they were like, why? Why can't you make the meeting? You're not signing with somebody else. Because at that time, CAA, ICM, and William Morris were courting me crazy. So I said, no, my car, I got a leak in the radiator. Just relax, stay right there. I'll get right back to you. Hung up the phone. 45 minutes later, I hear knock on my door. I open the door. I'm living in this dump, 11134 Aqua Vista. One of those hotels that looks like you're on the lam.
Yeah.
Where the concrete is like concrete on the floor with some kind of carpet, bad. And this guy's there, he's a little Spanish guy. He's got like this uniform on, like a brown uniform. He goes, you Chazz Palminteri? I go, yeah. He goes, come with me. I go, what? He goes, come with me. I have to give you something. I go, all right. I go down in the parking lot. And there was all actors there. We were all broke, so we had all these broken down cars. And right in the middle, not parked, right in the middle of the parking lot was a 1989 Cadillac Eldorado black saddle interior. And he says, this from William Morris, don't be late for the meeting.
Wow.
And I was like, what? He goes, it's yours.
Stunned.
I was stunned. So I went right up back upstairs. I didn't have cell phones then. I called them up. I said, what's going on? They said, no. We leased it for you for 2 years. It's yours. I said, but I didn't sign with you. They said, nah, it's okay. If you sign with somebody else, if you go with CAA or I said, he goes, you're a good guy. We like you. Use it in good faith.
Wow.
And I drove there and they were all there waiting for me. And I ended up signing with
Signed with ICM?
I signed with William Morris.
With William Morris, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I waited about another week. I spoke to the other guys, but William Morris was unrelenting. Unrelenting, Michael. They all were unrelenting, but William Morris was the most. I mean, they were all really good, and they promised me the world, and they do that.
Yeah.
And I knew that. See, I was 38. I wasn't a kid. I was a street guy and smart. So I just kind of believed what they said, but I knew I was the flavor of the month, and I was the hot guy. So I knew. And so they represented me as see, they were excited about my writing as much as my acting.
Right.
And that's what I liked.
So now, okay, you're still continuing to do the one-man show.
Now I'm doing the one-man show, and I'm getting the offers, and it goes up to over $1 million. Still
to turn it into a movie?
No, to just give it to them.
To give them the show.
To give them the rights of the play, not as no actor, no writer.
Just the rights.
They just take my story, then make it whatever they want. And I said, no, you're not going to destroy this. It's honest, it's real, it's good. They kept saying no. And so what I did was, and just before this day, and I'll tell you this, we have time, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Just before Robert De Niro came in that day, I get a call to meet with this very big director, Academy Award director. I don't want to say it was because I actually like the guy. And I go to his place, and as a street guy, I get on the internet. I like to look up the people who I'm going to meet.
Let me make this clear. Street guy doesn't mean he's a mob guy, because I know a lot of you people because he's my friend
not a mob
that
guy.
He was connected. He was not a mob guy, but he grew up around a lot of guys.
I grew up around guys, so I know the person you're about to meet. Learn about him. Ask people about him. What makes him tick? I want to learn these things. So I got on the internet, Google, and I looked him up, and he was famous. And I looked at his movies. I looked at where he went to school and how long has he been here. I wanted to learn about him. So I go there, and I sit down with him, and he goes to me, and we talk in his incredible office, and we're sitting there, and it has a nice, I'll never forget it, salmon, rice, and we're eating, and he's saying, I saw the show night before last. And he goes, it's a movie, Chazz. This is an Oscar movie. This is like incredible. He goes, I know everybody wants it, but let me tell you what I want. I said, you do this movie with me, I'll put this movie on the fast track right now. Greenlit right now. We make the movie. No waiting 2-3 years for your movie. Today, I greenlight it. And I'm listening. I said,
and that's like almost impossible.
That's like impossible.
Impossible in the industry.
Yeah, it's...
Let me go. There's a famous producer, I won't mention his name, but he told me the average time from a movie, when the script is done, until people are sitting in the theater, 13 years.
Yes.
Okay, so this is amazing what
he says. Tomorrow, greenlit. I have another movie I was going to do. I pushed that aside. I'm doing this one. That's like a big thing. He goes, $1 million. And I said, great. So I said to him, I said, just like that. I said, that's all great news. I said, but you realize that I play Sonny and I write the screenplay. And he just puts his head down. He goes, no, Chazz, I love you. You're great. You're great. You're a great actor. I know you've been on Broadway and all that. He goes, but nobody knows you. And this, I want to make this movie for money, for big money. Mm-hmm. This is not a little movie. I says, so you don't want me to be in it and you don't want me to write it? He goes, I can't. I have mentions the names of guys who wrote big movies that he wants to write it. Mm-hmm. I said, oh. So I look at him and I go, you went to NYU, right? And he went, I threw him, He says, yeah. I said, oh, right. You came out here 8 years ago, right? He says, yes, but where are we going with this? I said, no, I just want to know. I said, well, and when you came out here from film school, nobody knew you, and you worked hard, and finally you got a break to direct this little movie with these 3 stars. I don't want to say the movie. And he goes, yeah, okay, I did. It's a small movie, whatever, $8 million, $10 million. But you made a great movie out of that. And that's how you became all this. Mm-hmm. I said, so I want you to think about that. Don't I deserve the same fucking break that you got? Don't I? Mm-hmm. You got it. Why can't I get it? He didn't know what to say. I stomped him. I just stumped him, and he just looked at me and said, I apologized. He goes, he did apologize. He said, I'm sorry. I shook his hand. He goes, friends? I said, yeah, we're cool. He goes, I can't make the movie with you. I said, that's okay. He goes, let's finish our lunch. And I finished our lunch. I said, it was really great to meet you. And he said, he was very nice. He said, good luck. I hope it happens for you. Mm-hmm. And I left. So the next day, right after that time, I do the show, and the guy comes over to me and says, Robert De Niro's in your dressing room. He just saw the show. So I was like, oh, wow, okay. But I was used to big people coming. I didn't know he was there. So I walked downstairs, and Bob De Niro was sitting in the chair just like this. And he's sitting there, Bob. And it's like, I said, hi, hey, Bob, how you doing? I called him Bob. And he said, I love the movie. He was so complimentary. He loved it. And he said, look, I want to do this. He goes, I know you're talking to a lot of people and everybody wants it. He goes, you got to realize if you end up selling it, they're going to come to me anyway. I said,
smart.
He's smart. And I said, you're absolutely right. He goes, so listen, Chazz. He goes, but if you and I do it, I produce it and we make it together, then nobody tells us what to do. And I was like, okay. He goes, and I know what you want. He goes, I think you'll be great as Sonny. And I think you'll be great writing the movie. And you know why, Chazz? Because it'll be honest and real. And they won't fuck it up. He goes, but I love, So he just saw it and he kept exactly what I did. And he said, if you make it with me, I'll never forget it. He said, you could speak to everybody you want. He goes, but if you make it with me, he goes, I'll make it fucking right. I'll never forget that. And I shook his hand and that was it. That's how I made the movie.
Did he originally want to play a role in the movie?
Never.
He didn't want to.
And I'm glad you brought that up. That is an absolute myth that they've been saying for 30 years. De Niro wanted to play Sonny and Chazz told him no. Absolutely not. De Niro always wanted to play my father. Bob wanted to direct it. So Bob didn't want to carry the movie and direct it. So he thought, hey, I'll play the father and I'll direct it. If I play the father, it'll help get the movie made and help more money into the movie, and I'll direct it. And he always said, he never once questioned that because he knew I wouldn't have sold it.
Right.
I would have said, I can't do it. I mean, I was that crazy.
Yeah, but he saw you on stage do the part.
He saw me. And what he did do, even more than that, I'll tell you what he did do. He heard about I was on Broadway and everything, and he knew I was a really good actor. But you know what this guy did? He checked on me. That if I was really from the street in that area.
Did he?
He did.
And did that mean, was that a positive for him that you were?
Positive.
Yeah.
That I was.
Because you had the feeling.
Because I was
understood.
Yeah, he knew. And I know that because some people told me that they asked around about me. Because the crew that,
Yes.
that I was with. Not that I was with.
He knew. Okay. Let's be clear on this.
Yes, I'm sorry about it. He
played
knew
a mob
crew.
guy, knew mob guys.
Yeah, he knew the crew that was in my neighborhood. Right. And he knew, and Pesci knew them too. So it was very easy to check if I was a kid who grew up there.
Right.
And I was the kid. So that was like, yeah, he's real. He's not some kid from Riverdale saying he grew up there. And that's the most important thing to Bob, is that you know the milieu, that you know it in your heart, in your blood. And that's why Bob got no actors. He didn't want actors, so it was benefit to him. I was relatively a stage actor. I wasn't really known at all.
Yeah.
So that was great, So just Bob, myself, and Joe Pesci were the only real actors in the movie. That's it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How it came about. And when you first did the one-man show, was the script much different than that?
In the movie?
Yeah.
No.
The movie script, because the way I saw the one-man show a couple of times, it's the same as the movie.
Same as the movie. I mean, so it's a couple of scenes are opened up.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's the same script.
So you didn't have to change much.
Didn't have to change. No, I mean, Bob was very bright, very smart. And in the play, I sat on the stoop and talked to the kid about Mickey Mantle. But Bob said, Chazz, the reality is they would never do that. I think they would send for the kid and have Beansy go get him. And then I said, yeah, you're right. And then I rewrote the scene. I changed it.
So Bob had a good sense of the life also.
Bob had a great sense.
He understood
of how to make the movie.
But I mean, he had a good sense of the life. What a guy would have done.
Oh no, Bob knew the life.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob knew the life.
Yeah.
Bob.
He had a good sense of it.
I mean, Bob knew the life. I mean, I'll never forget his directing to me. The first day, I think, we had a scene where him and I are like going at it, And he said, treat me worse. That's what he said.
Really?
Yeah, he said, you have to realize I'm a bus driver. You're the boss. Treat me like I'm like, when you have a piece of shit under your foot, you have shit and you scrape it off.
And that's that scene, I remember.
And that's all that he said.
Yeah.
And I knew right away what he meant. You know, I mean, he was a brilliant director. I wish he would have directed more movies. I hope he does. But I've said this for 30 years, 34 years now. If it wasn't for Robert De Niro, who kept it real and honest, Bronx Tale wouldn't have came out the way it did. You could have the best script in the world, and I thought I did because they paid me over millions of dollars for it. But if you get the wrong director, they will fuck it up. Bob De Niro did just what he said. I'll make it right. And it's because of him that movie came out the way it did. And I say it honestly, because I've been saying it at the 10-year anniversary, the 20-year, the 30-year anniversary, and I'll say it forever. I say, God bless you. Thank you, Bob, for making the movie the right way.
Well, let me ask you this. When the movie came out, did you stop at any time doing the show?
Yes.
One-man show?
I did.
I stopped. Pause for a while?
Yes, I stopped from 1994 and then brought it back to Broadway in 2007.
Wow. So it was a long
Because
hiatus.
all those years, from 94 to 2007, which is like 13 years, people kept seeing me in all these movies and, you know, the Academy Award thing and everything. And they kept saying, yeah, I love this movie. I love You as a Suspect. I love this. But when you did that one-man show, man, that was like, wow, that's better than the movie. That's better. When I did the music, it was crazy. And I just said, you know, I'm going to do it again.
So that motivated you.
That motivated me. I said, you know what? I want to get on Broadway and go back. And I did it, and it was just, bam, same thing.
Well, you know what it is, Chazz? I mean, I've seen it now 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating that you could do all of those characters.
Yeah.
That's what's fascinating. And I know you knock yourself out. At the end of the night, you're pretty tired.
I'm tired, yeah.
And rightfully so. But look, the movie was brilliant, no question about it.
Oh, brilliant.
And like I said, not only redeeming characters, every one of them, but some of the phrases the words of wisdom that came out, you didn't see that in other movies, other mob movies. And I think that's what made it special also.
That's what made it special. It was the one-man show, then the movie, and then I wrote the musical, the book, and Alan Menken and Glenn Slater did the, again, directed by Bob, the musical, and the great Jerry Zaks, one of the great musical theater directors of all time. And, Tommy Mottola produced it. So I had a dream team around me, which was fabulous. And then it comes to, I said, well, I want to end this. And I said, I'm going to film the movie of the one-man show.
I have a question for all my friends and followers. Have you tried my wine yet? You know, in the last 2 years, we've made tremendous progress with Franzese wine, and it's really all thanks to your support, and obviously because people are finding out we have a great wine at a great price. In 2025, we aim to become a national brand, and I want all of you to be a part of it. Every bottle you buy, every story you share builds more than a brand. It fuels a movement. The story of our wine is one of people having second chances and of lives being transformed. That's the truth. So go to my website, franzesewine.com, and get your bottle today. Salud, my friends.
But wait a second, before you get to that, I think you're minimizing it. How many actual performances have you done on the one-man show?
1,051.
All around the world?
All around, yes.
And I know every time I've gone, it's been sold out.
Sold out
continues.
Every time, yes.
So now that this is your legacy.
Yes.
This is what really gave your career a jolt. And
everything,
And it was really, and Chazz, I have to say that I'm not doing this for anything. This was really all on you because it was your one-man show. You wrote it.
Yes.
You directed the one-man show. It was all you, right?
No, the original one-man show, no. Jerry Zaks did it on Broadway.
Okay.
Yes.
But it still was all you. I look
yes,
at it
but
that way.
I must say, Jerry Zaks made it even, when I came back, he made it even better. He did.
Okay, so this is your legacy now, and you want to keep it forever. I want people to be able to see it
Yeah.
forever.
Because people said to me, when you stop doing it, nobody else could do this, which I disagree, because I licensed it out, not in the United States, but in France and in Italy, and it was a huge hit there by another
Somebody
actor.
else did it.
Somebody else
Wow.
did it, right.
Now, is that still going, or that's
No, that closed up. But it was 2 hits.
okay?
Hit.
So now it's in your mind. I want. This is my legacy. So what happens after that? This was a couple of years ago, right?
A couple of years ago. So I said, you know what? I'm not getting any younger. I'm still in great shape. I'm old enough now. I'm going to put it on film. I'm going to put the one-man show on film. But I didn't want to do it like just a camera back there and people. Again, I have these crazy ideas in my head. I said, I'm going to make it like a movie. I'm gonna cut to back. I'm gonna cut to different people. I'm gonna shoot it with 5 cameras. And everybody thought I was crazy, and people were like, yeah. So I said, I don't want nobody's money. I'm paying for the movie myself. And I did. I wanted to pay for it. I don't want anybody tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So for 2 years, I figured out what to do. And I was very fortunate. I found these young filmmakers, these young cinematographers and editors, and they were like crazy as I am. They said, "Oh yeah, yes, we love that." And I said, "This is not like a comedy special where you just shoot the comic," and because I'm not a comic, I said I'm an actor, I'm a storyteller, and they just got it from day one. And I worked on it, and I directed it, obviously, and I wrote it. I produced it, and they shot it, and it just came out freaking amazing. But I went to Bob De Niro, and I went to Jane Rosenthal and John Killick, who were the original producers of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to them, I want you to be in on this. I don't want any money.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be executive producers. I wanted to give them a piece of the film. I felt it was only the right thing to do. Some people said, well, you don't have to do that. I said, no. They're the ones who gave me my first break, and now I want to return the favor. And they said, well, let us see it. Bob was like, let us see it first. And we had this big screening. That's the first time. And Bob and Jane saw it with John Killick and just were like floored and said, wow, okay, yeah, we want to be a part of this.
Right.
And then I got with a great company, Giant Pictures, who also does the movie. They distribute the movie all over the world. So it was great.
All right.
And Tribeca Films, and they just loved it. And the reviews came out, and
They were great.
they were great. And this one guy said, Chazz Palminteri, I didn't read this because I don't read reviews, but the only thing they told me was the headline was, Chazz Palminteri does the ultimate magic trick. And it was like, I hypnotized the audience in it. And here's the thing that I loved about the reviews. They said, I saw the one-man show, I saw the movie, I saw the musical. Seeing it, the one-man show on film is a whole different experience.
It absolutely is.
It's like seeing it for the first time because you're inside all the characters' faces and heads. And that's what I wanted. And I'm happy about it. And I always tell people, it's in selected theaters now where I do a Q&A afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also on, we made a deal with Amazon Prime, Google, Apple, all the streaming services. And it's just like, it's busted out, man.
And it's been out for about 2 weeks now.
It's been out a week.
A week.
A week, yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, I can absolutely verify that it's just different from the movie.
Right.
And honestly, for me, it's captivating because I know you, I guess, too. Just seeing you do every single part. It's how do you do that?
I don't understand how people they go, that's me, that was my father, that was my uncle. My uncle was a mentor, just like Sonny. My father was this. Parents bring their children to see it.
Well, because, the character Sonny was really a
Yeah.
good mentor to Closure.
Yeah, they bring, Michael, I'm not exaggerating, like bring their 10-year-old, 11-year-old sons and daughters to see the movie, to see the play. It's like stunned. I mean, I'm stunned. I see these young 12-year-old kids, and then at the end of it, I take out these cards, saddest thing in life is a waste of talent, and I bring some of the kids on stage, and I give them a card, And sometimes I was doing, when it was like one kid, I said, what's your name? And the kid comes over to me, Colodro, I'll never forget it. I said, your name's Colodro? He said, yes. I said, holy. He goes, and my brother is Sonny.
Wow.
I said, you have a brother named Sonny? I said, I'm sorry, I don't believe this. And the mother and father got up in like the third row, and they said, we named one son Sonny, and we named the other son Colodro.
After the film.
And I was like, and I brought them both on stage. I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This is amazing. And I opened my wallet, and I took out two $200 bills. And I signed one to Sonny, and I signed one to Colodro, and I gave them both 100 each. And I said, like Sonny gave me 100, I'm giving you guys 100. Crowd's going crazy. But then after that, I was always getting somebody named Colodro and Sonny. I said, oh, easy with the hundreds here. Enough for these $100 bills,
I was going to say, they're all going to start coming up.
That was that first time. Sonny, Colodro.
Well, Chazz, I have to say, out of all the movies that I've seen, when I saw Bronx Tale, the character Sonny reminded me of my father.
I've heard that.
And you know what?
They thought it was, they said, are you
heard
doing
that.
this for Sonny Franzese?
I've heard that.
And I
also.
said, and I had to be honest, I said, no, I know who he is, but I never modeled it after him, no.
Well, it's just the way my dad carried himself.
Yeah.
And my dad was always speaking pearls of wisdom to his kids, to me, all the time. Always try to give me a lesson. And when you were around Colodro, that's all you kept doing, and mentoring him. And I really felt that movie.
Yeah, well, that's the way Sonny was. And again, that's not his real name. But he was always like, this and that. But always he would say something. He would always say something that was so like, damn. He's the one who said, not, and I didn't say this in the film, but he used to say, never answer the door after 12 o'clock. It's only bad news, Chazz.
Yeah.
Anybody knocks on your door after 12, don't answer it. Be quiet. It's a simple thing like that.
Smart.
It's not, it can't be good news.
Yeah, he's right.
Phone rings 3 in the morning, don't answer it. Nobody's saying, hey, I got $1 million for you. It's bad news.
That's absolutely true.
And I'll never forget that. And you know what? All these pearls of wisdom I try to pass on to my son. And he's always like,
Are you listening?
He's always like, hey, Dad, all right. I said, no. I remember my son when he was like 12 or 13. Him and his friend wanted to go for a walk on Atlantic City Pier because I was appearing in Las Vegas. And my wife says, oh, should he go? I said, he's 12, let him. And he went, and he comes back and he goes, I said, how was it? Hey, Dad, we had the greatest time. I said, oh, good, you guys had a good time. We met this great guy. And I said, whoa, what guy? No, we met this guy, he was like, I don't know, in his 30s. He came over to us and said, hey, you guys from New York? And he was rapping to us, and he was really good. But then he asked us if we wanted to go with him because he was going to give us, if we wanted to buy some drugs. And we said, no, we walked away. Mm-hmm. I said, oh. He goes, well, he was a great guy, Dad. I said, you know what that is? He was a con man. I said, you know where con comes from? Con comes from confidence. The reason why they get your confidence first. They make you feel relaxed and at ease. Hey, I love that tie. That's a great tie. Where are you from, New York? I love New York. That's what they do. And he goes, oh, okay, Dad, thanks. And, he knew right there. And all these years now he's like, I don't know if he's a street kid, but he's smart.
Well, tell Dante, who I know and love, that I had 2 brothers. The only one that listened to my father was me.
There you go.
And I'm the only one that had a modicum of success. The other 2, they didn't, unfortunately. But every time he spoke, I listened. I absorbed it because what he said was right. Yeah. It meant something to me.
Yeah, I always tell him, and he gets tired of hearing it sometimes, but I go, the older you get, the smarter I become. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
And so Bronx Tale is my dedication to parents with their children. And there's a lot of lessons in there. And people who see it want to see it again and again. People want to see the one-man show. All they have to go is ChazzPalminteri.net. And I'm still doing the national tour all over. I do it in between my TV series. I'm on Godfather of Harlem with Forrest Whitaker, and I'm also on Gravesend with Willem DeMeo. So I'm doing 2 TV series plus doing the show. It's pretty crazy, but life is good, Michael.
We don't slow down, Chazz.
We don't slow down, man.
I know for a fact you're
When
not
you slow down, you
I'm
die.
Not going. I got about a year on you, I think. Maybe.
Well, we're close.
Yeah, we're close.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, people. I've seen the movie, I don't know how many times. Can't even count because I love the movie. And I've seen the live show, and now I've watched this. This is different. You got to see it done as a one-man show. It's different than the movie. The movie's brilliant, but this is something captivates you, and you're going to want to see it again. Because first of all, he's playing all these characters. For those of you that saw the movie, you'll remember it. I think it'll be even more meaningful to you to see the one-man show.
Yeah, you can see it live, or they can see it on Prime.
Yeah.
Or Google, Apple. See it both ways.
Will there be a list of theaters as it?
Yeah, a list of theaters will be coming out.
Great.
Yeah, selected theaters in each big city. I'm going to do like 3 or 4 showings and have a Q&A afterwards.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that should be fun.
Yeah, no, it's good. So listen, you heard it firsthand. I don't know of any other movie that had a precedent like this, that came out of a one-man show, and it's been going on for over 30 years now.
Yeah.
And then from the one-man show to the movie to the one-man show on film. Unbelievable.
I'm the first guy, and I say this, the only thing I ever brag about, I'm the first person in entertainment history who ever wrote the one-man show, started it, wrote the movie, started it, wrote the musical, started it, and then wrote the one-man show as a movie, started it. So
I've never heard of that ever.
I've never heard of that, but that's what they say. So.
And let me tell you, for all you moms out there, ladies, like Chazz said, you can bring your kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because some of the things that the pearls of wisdom that Chazz says in the one-man show, like the movie, are good for all the kids. Believe me.
It really is. I mean, there's a few F's in it, obviously.
Oh, they've heard that before.
Yeah, they've heard that before. But if you just go, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. Yeah. That's my father's line. You put that in Google, it'll tell you all the great things about Bronx Tale.
Remember this, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. How true is that? And that comes along loud and clear in the movie for little Cologio. Sonny is teaching him that, not all mob guys are that bad, and we loved our kids too. And we were mentors to many of our kids. So, Sonny says a lot of brilliant things in this movie. There's, is it better to be loved or feared? I got to be honest with you, one of my favorite lines, now you can't leave.
That's the classic line, yeah. Everybody talks about that line.
Yeah, I mean, that's classic. But there's so many. So listen, you're a family, whatever, see the movie, see it on film. You're going to love it. And like I said, if you've seen the movie, you haven't seen the one-man show. It's the same, but it's totally different, and it'll capture you, no doubt about it.
Michael, thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
God
As
bless.
always.
As
God
always.
Bless. All right, my friends. Well, there you have it. I think we always have a great conversation between us. Chazz is great. And do yourself a real favor. Go out and get this on the streaming platform. It's on Amazon. I think a couple of others it'll pop into. And if it happens to come into a theater in your neighborhood, go in and see it. It's good to support somebody that's been giving his all for the past, 30 or 40 years in that industry. And let me tell you something. If you can do anything for 30 some odd years, more than that. Chazz has been acting for about 40 years. If you can do anything that well for that length of time, you're doing something right. So go and see my friend. You can bring him into your house now. That's it for today, my friends. How do I always leave you? Same way, never gonna change. Be safe, you know the deal. Be healthy. Come on, you heard Jillian Michaels, you heard what she had to say. We gotta be healthy, my friends, and hopefully RFK will help us be healthy in these coming 4 years. Be safe, be healthy. Yes, I mean this. God bless each and every one of you, your communities, your neighborhoods, your family. God bless Donald Trump. God bless America. See you next time.